To talk about the North East CMA program, Lachlan Campbell.
Thank you very much, Chris, and thank you very much for everyone in the audience for attending today. It's a nerve-wracking experience, and I guess this is part of the project we've been running for the last 4 years, the Sustainable Farm Practices Soil Carbon Program. It has required, I guess, a heavy investment of time and knowledge by landholders and the broader community to have input and to allow us to deliver the project as, I guess, our team, who I'll mention in a sec, envisaged from the start with a few minor changes as we've gone. As Chris mentioned, our sponsors, we'd really like to mention them. I'd like to mention our team, which has delivered this project. Chris Reid, who you've met, Suzanne Johnston in the corner, Jeff McKernan, who's an apology today, and myself. I guess we come to the table with varying views, and that's been really important to this project, to have a diversity of input into how we deliver it. I think that's been the key to the successful application of this project is we all have different ideas about how farmers and landholders might adopt management change and how they might adopt new technologies and new thinking. And there's no one single way, I'd suspect, I think that's fair to say, we've found throughout this project to approach farmers and get buy-in. Here's some key statistics that might interest you. We'd like to think that the federal government got a fair bang for its buck on this. We've done 505 soil tests across the region, and as part of this project we did a soil test at the start 2 to 3 years ago, and we've gone back and done 250 further tests on those same properties from those farmers who are interested. Done 2,500 soil tests. 1 tonne of soil I think has been sent to Western Australia. Not because, you know, there's a few West Australians in the audience, but we've sent it over there, and they're richer for that 1 tonne, I'm sure. There's been 200 training sessions, as you see, and they've been integral to this project. The soil testing was the initial part, and then we've provided community members with an opportunity to identify agronomists and soil specialists who they feel will add value to their operation. We had 7 agronomists on our books, and each of them has been engaged to various levels to deliver that training. I guess we wanted to give ownership to the broader community about this project so that they took home what information was valuable to them. $500,000 worth of soil testing. A key thing was the database, and we got into this project and found that there was an immense amount of data that needed managing. And I think we're slightly unprepared for the amount of data that we were going to collect. So consequently, we established a database, which has been fantastic, and we've got about 2,500 people on that database from North East Victoria. This is our catchment, the North East Catchment Management Area. So it's been fairly, a lot of it is Crown land, but it's been fairly spread out across the region, and as I said, the uptake's been fantastic. We approached this with the fact that there was not a lot of knowledge in the community about soil carbon in general, and even to ourselves, and I'll explain a bit further later on, getting a handle on soil carbon and understanding it, we felt that part of the process was perhaps look at the chemical, biological and physical aspects of soil, which most landholders do understand and have a pretty good grasp on. I guess soil carbon is a bit of a proxy for soil health, and I think that's the sort of the line we've taken on this. There is a great deal of interest in soil carbon. I guess this project, a precursor to this project, was some work the Ovens Landcare network had done, and they'd been very successful in that catchment, and the interest was fairly phenomenal around soil health. So I guess in essence this project to some degree was an extension of that, and given the uptake I think it's been very successful, and it's an interesting time, I guess, in farming where there's such a broad interest in soils, and I think farmers are coming back to the basics, the basic fundamentals or building blocks of an enterprise. So we've done soil pits, we've run seminars with farmers, and I guess in one way or another, soil carbon can be linked to a whole range of topics, and it's to that effect that we've delivered this project because, as I said, there's no one silver bullet to work with farmers and get them to understand the broader implications of soil carbon in their system. Another thing we felt was really important was to try and understand the demographic motivations of landholders. North East CMA has a broad range of landholders, from amenity landholders to professional landholders to part-time landholders, and connecting with that audience was really a key to delivering this project. And I guess people come to farming with different ideas and different motivations. Hence, there's a social implication, environmental and an economic. And I guess we've used the triple bottom line to put the program together, but to use in the back of our mind when we're approaching various groups, whether it's the Rutherglen cropping group or the Mungie Landcare group, for instance. So there's a whole range of reasons why people want to get on board soil carbon. And I think the reason this project has been successful is we've gone, at day one, we've tried to understand what those motivations are. A critical part to this has been the communications, and it's been really important in undertaking the soil testing, but then delivering back to those people who were generous enough to let us onto their farms and to participate in the program, give them information back. And with Michael, we've had problems with slow soil tests or no, there's been a whole range of things. And I think we've been very supported by our land, the land managers in the region. So the database was a key, and I can't iterate that much. That's been the critical part for us managing the communications. I guess the identification, there's many ways to skin a cat, if you like, and working with community, you've got to understand those motivations. I guess we've used well-developed adult education techniques about, smelling, sniffing, touching, getting people, going to people in their regional area and delivering the information that's appropriate and relevant to them. We went onto people's farms and rotated around that. Each group of soil tests got 4 sessions with the agronomist at no cost, and the buy-in and the repeat attendance was very good. I can't tell you the stats off the top of my head, but it was very good. So currently we've taken the second lot of soil tests, and we are finally reporting to those group of landholders. Some of the basic findings, and look, I'm not going to go, Michael's done a lot of interpretation of the data. These are some basic take-home messages, if you like, a report card for our region. This is 500 soil tests. We haven't updated the extra 200 soil tests we're doing now. That needs to be accumulated. But I guess there's some the total soil carbon. This is across the regions. We have soil tests in 1,000 millimetre rainfall. I think 1,200 might even be the highest, down to about 450, 500 at Rutherglen. So the average across the region, the 0 to 10, was about 2.9%. I guess ideally, 3 to 4 is a great way to be, but we've got a bit of work to do. And that's fairly general, but traditionally, I guess our soils are more acidic, and I can look at the aluminium there, 9%. Between the 0 to 10, which should be less than 3%. So there's some key messages there, and I don't think it's pretty simple. We had all this data interpreted through La Trobe University to see if there's anything take-home messages, and really, in essence, there wasn't anything outstanding. Although the one thing was 50% of our landholders have a higher education, which I think would be well above the national average, and I think that's to be commended. 65% of landholders are above 50 years of age. That's perhaps not so good. Well, depends which side of the fence you stand. So the take-home message is we're low in soil carbon, with some very low. We're very high in CEC aluminium, and pH is generally low, which, as you all pretty much be aware, locks up a large amount of phosphorus. Some of the other activities. I guess partnerships has been really key to this, working with industry groups, Landcare groups, broader community groups, urban Landcare groups. So that's been really critical. Partnerships with DPI Victoria, Murray CMA, and as I said, some of those production groups. 300 farmers did e-farmer training, which is electronic farm-based process that Suzanne would have taken them through, farm planning process. So 300 of the 500 potentially have taken that up, which is really very good. I guess we're trying to empower local groups and industry groups. This project has an end date. We want some sort of legacy to this program. And so we're trying to empower local groups to keep exploring, keep accessing money, and keep undertaking trials to understand their farming system better. We've run 4 annual days like this with Murray CMA. And as a spin-off, which is interesting, spin-off is the North East CMA were successful in getting $1.6 million to develop a biochar pyrolysis machine. And we were very fortunate, as a spin-off of that, we were able to get $250,000 from the federal government to undertake some biochar trials in North East Victoria and southern New South Wales. It's very early in its stages. We've got some data around that, and it's probably for another workshop, but it's fascinating. And I think that biochar trial, it fed in very nicely into what we're doing with this, the other project. I guess the other thing which was interesting, and we tried, was running a partnership with Wodonga TAFE around getting those farmers who didn't have, accredited skills, acknowledgement of the skills they had. And we got it up and running, and I don't know how many people, I think we had 5 or 10 people undertake the process, where they got recognition of prior learning. But then the TAFE system sort of collapsed and the project sort of collapsed. But I think it was a great initiative because a lot of farmers out there who have incredible skills, they're not sort of recognised in a formal process. This is some of the feedback that we've had from the workshops that we've delivered. What weeds are telling me about my management. Ground cover management is now my top priority. Maintaining water in the soil profile. They want to increase biodiversity, understanding landscape. So it's all music to our ears. I guess and I guess that forms the basis of what we've been trying to assist farmers understand. Ooh. I guess we're fortunate. North East CMA has invested in us too, in this project and our knowledge. As I said earlier, soil carbon, it certainly seems to have taken off meteorically, and I guess we've been fortunate to be able to get access staff training. Now, I've got to get this right. The Victorian branch of the Australian Soil Science Society have been running workshops and so forth. So we've been able to go and get a bit broader understanding ourselves about some of the issues that are at play. So we've got a better, base understanding. These are some of the workshops in closing. Done some natural sequence farming workshops. We've run beef and grazing workshops, Omeo, Cudgewell and Londrigan. We've done this was a viticulture workshop, looking at botrytis and how soil health affects botrytis in vineyards. Soil aeration workshops, looking at how that can increase your soil carbon. The annual forums, the last 4 years. And I guess wrapping up, I've got a bit of an interest in the wine industry. There is a very close correlation between terroir and the final wine style. So we explored this thoroughly, let me say, and we've got some very happy participants there. So I guess the bottom line is I think we all had fun. The team who delivered the project have had fun, and it has been a fun time. And we would like to think the participants who are involved in the project had fun and got a laugh, but learnt something in the meantime. I guess to acknowledge this project, we're fortunate enough to be written up in the Soils for Life book, which is available on the internet. I think you see in your little bag, there's a printout of our write-up. And we're very fortunate tonight to have Mr. John Crawford speaking. We really think there's a link between good food and good soil and public health. And we're very fortunate to secure John tonight, who's going to explore that topic and see how farmers play a role in the general public health. Thanks, Chris.